Teacher accuses 12-year-old of cheating, but the incredible truth revealed changes lives forever. Mia Thompson sat quietly at her desk, heart racing as she stared at the front of the classroom. The chalkboard, once a simple backdrop to her dreams, felt like a prison wall now. The whispers began to swirl around her like a storm as Mr. Harris, with cold eyes, accused her of cheating on the math exam. "There's no way you scored this high, Mia," he had said, disbelief dripping from his voice. She felt the heat rush to her cheeks, her world crumbling in one swift moment. Her home life was tough. Raised by her single mom, Karen, who worked late shifts as a waitress just to keep food on the table, Mia had always taken pride in her academic achievements. Education was her ticket, her way to lift her family out of struggle. She studied late into the night, worn out from school and life, but nothing ever deterred her. And what hurt the most was that Mr. Harris knew that. Deep down, did he think her hard work, her late nights of study and determination, were all a facade? As the accusations echoed through the hallways, Mia felt smothered by the weight of judgment. Whispered comments grew into a chorus of doubt. "She's just a poor kid trying to get ahead," some would say, while others questioned whether she'd ever really deserved it. Mia's heart ached as her thoughts raced. Am I not good enough? Do my dreams even matter anymore? Karen, fierce as a lion, couldn't stand idly by. She locked eyes with friends and neighbors, each conversation thick with concern. "My daughter is innocent," she claimed, but even as she spoke, flickers of doubt darted through her heart. Could this be a sign of a flawed system that failed children like Mia? In the midst of heartbreak and fear, something beautiful began to blossom. The community, divided at first, slowly transformed into a whirlwind of support for Mia. Neighbors rallied together, organizing fundraisers and meetings, determined to seek justice. Fireworks of determination sparked in Mia's chest. People began to echo her mom's words, she was more than just her struggles. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. The fundraiser reached incredible heights, bringing people together not only to support Mia but to confront the undercurrents of bias that had crept into their community. Bonds forged in struggle illuminated the depths of what they stood for. But just when the tension felt like it would explode, a twist emerged from the shadows. Mr. Peterson, a quiet retired veteran, came forward. He had been tutoring Mia for weeks, helping her unlock the math puzzles that seemed impossible. As the truth of his guidance poured into the town's awareness, Mia felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe things could change. Maybe they could see beyond the surface. As she prepared to address the town meeting alongside her mom, whispers began to fade into silence. Would the community embrace empathy, or would doubt shadow their every thought? The air crackled with anticipation, and Mia's heart raced as she stood on the verge of a life-altering moment, knowing everything she struggled for could turn on this one defining night. Mia took a deep breath, her stomach twisting with nerves as she stepped onto the small stage set up in the community center. The room was packed, filled with faces both familiar and new. Parents, friends, teachers, and even strangers had come to hear her story. Each gaze felt like a weight pressing down on her shoulders, but in that moment, she knew she had to rise above it. Beside her, her mom stood proudly, strong and unwavering. Karen squeezed Mia's hand tightly. "You can do this, sweetheart. Just speak from your heart." When Mia glanced at the crowd, she saw the faces of those who believed in her. She spotted Mr. Peterson sitting in the front row, an encouraging nod from him made her heart swell with gratitude. He had filled her with knowledge, but it was their bond built on trust and understanding that truly fortified her spirit. "Thank you all for being here," Mia began, her voice trembling slightly. I never thought I'd have to stand up like this, to fight for my name. But I am not just a number or a test score. The words began to flow. I am a student who worked hard, late into the night, trying to do something better for my future. The room fell into a hush, every ear attuned to her words. Mia felt the walls around her start to fade. With each sentence, she opened her heart wider, sharing her struggles and the love that fueled her ambition, a love that came from her mother, a love that connected her to each person in that room. I studied with Mr. Peterson's help because I wanted to learn, she continued, glancing over at him. The truth is, I'm proud of my hard work. It's not just about grades, it's about believing in ourselves and supporting one another. That's what makes a community. A flicker of recognition rippled through the crowd. Heads began to nod. Mia's words unleashed an outpouring of emotion. Parents exchanged glances, tears glistened in some eyes, while others clenched their fists in solidarity. Mia felt a shift in the air, it was as if a tide of understanding was washing over them. But just as Mia felt victory within her reach, she noticed Mr. Harris standing at the back, his arms crossed tightly. What had he thought when he saw her shine in the exam? Had he really believed she didn't deserve it? The sting of his doubts cut deeper now. As the speech wrapped up, Mia felt a surge of courage. We can't let bias cloud our judgment. Everyone deserves a chance to shine, regardless of where they come from. I refuse to be defined by what someone else thinks of me. The room erupted into applause, a wave of sound that enveloped her like a warm embrace. Families stood, a united front, defending not only her but the values of compassion and understanding. Karen wiped away her tears, filled with both pride and relief. It was then that Mr. Peterson stood up. I believed in you, Mia. And I believe we all need to learn from this. This shouldn't just be about one student's fight. It's about bettering our whole community. His voice was strong and steady, a beacon of support. The applause grew louder, filling every corner of the room, and for the first time, Mia felt truly seen. But as the emotions surged, a knot of worry lingered in the back of her mind. What would happen next? Would Mr. Harris respond? Would the community continue to stand by her? Just as the noise of support reached its peak, Mia sensed a shift in the atmosphere. The energy crackled with anticipation. What lay ahead was still unknown, but she knew she was no longer alone. This was just the beginning. And deep inside, a question bubbled to the surface: would they uncover the truth about Mr. Harris' actions, or would Mia's fight take an unexpected turn? Mia stood at the podium, still wrapped in the warmth of the applause. But as the noise faded, an uneasy silence emerged. She could feel Mr. Harris's eyes boring into her, an icy weight that threatened to pull her back under. What would he say? Would he add to the chorus of support or unleash his doubts? Mia. Mr. Harris's voice cut through the quiet, his tone harsh and unyielding. I commend your courage, but this is not a matter of personal triumph. It's about the integrity of the examinations. The standards we uphold to ensure fairness. The room bristled with tension. The very air felt charged as families exchanged uneasy glances. Mia felt her heart race, a cascade of frustration washing over her. What did he really believe? Was it just about winning the argument or the truth? I'm not here to step on anyone's toes, she said, trying to steady her voice. I'm here to affirm that hard work and support matter. Everyone deserves that chance. Mr. Harris's face hardened. And if it turns out that hard work doesn't mean you can bend the rules? He challenged, glaring. Or that you simply accessed the test papers ahead of time? Gasps echoed from the audience. Mia's stomach dropped. How could he think that? How could he even suggest it? The thought that her integrity could be questioned felt like a betrayal, biting and sharp. Mr. Harris, that's not fair. A voice rang out. It was Lily, a friend from school. Mia worked so hard. We all saw it. She didn't cheat, she inspired us. The crowd roared again, voices rising in chorus. Mia's heart soared as the show of support swept around her. But beneath that support lay a raw current of fear. What if the rumors multiplied? What if parents panicked as the idea of dishonesty spread? Enough! Mr. Harris barked, his voice like thunder. This dispute needs to be handled properly. He turned to the crowd. I will not allow the integrity of this community's educational system to crumble over one student's claims of injustice. Mia felt the walls closing in. A single moment felt like an eternity, each breath heavier than the last. The air buzzed with discontent, and she struggled to find her footing amidst the chaos. Mr. Harris, Mia spoke slowly, her voice laced with trembling determination. You speak of integrity, but true integrity means listening to and believing those around you. It means digging deeper instead of making allegations that hurt people. My story isn't just mine, it's a collective one. The murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd again like a spark igniting flames. It was exhilarating. This was the community's moment, a stand against unquestionable authority. Mr. Harris looked at her, eyes narrowed, as if weighing her words. You think this is just about you? He asked, almost softly, yet the challenge lingered in the air. What if it's about something bigger? That question hung between them, heavy and uncertain. What did he mean? How much power did he have? Mia felt a stirring in her gut. She knew they had to redefine what integrity meant in that moment. They could shape the future together. But just as Mia was about to respond, the door swung open, and a figure stepped into the room. It was the principal, eyes darting between them with a mix of concern and curiosity. Is everything all right here? She called out, concern tinged in her voice. Mia suddenly felt a mix of hope and dread. This could change everything. The moment stretched with possibility, and Mia realized that the answer to Mr. Harris's question would set the course of the fight to come. Would they all stand together, or would fear tear them apart? Mia held her breath, the weight of the principal's gaze sending a jolt through her. Everyone in the room shifted, their eyes now on the figure they expected to mediate the growing storm. Principal Johnson stepped forward, her brow furrowed as she surveyed the crowd. The tension was palpable, it felt like the entire room was holding its breath. Mia, would you like to explain what is happening? Principal Johnson asked, her voice steady but full of concern. With a quick inhalation, Mia nodded, her heart thumping hard against her chest. She could see Mr. Harris, his expression unreadable, and that made the courage she felt bubble up from within. Mr. Harris, she began, keeping her voice clear, believes that I might have cheated on the recent examinations. But I didn't cheat, I studied hard and sought help when I needed it. You know, Mia, Mr. Harris interjected again, his tone sharper now, a claim like that could pressure the system. Society expects us to deliver high standards. If students believe they can bend those rules, it undermines our entire educational framework. But Mia's voice caught, her plea hanging in the air. It's not just about the test. It's about every kid in our school getting the help they need without fear of being accused of wrongdoing. We should be encouraging each other, not tearing each other down. The chorus of whispers faded into an attentive silence, and Mia felt adrenaline surge. Uncertainty shimmered in the air, but hope flickered like a distant star. I understand your perspective, Mr. Harris, Principal Johnson said, her calm demeanor holding the room together. But accusations shouldn't overshadow a student's potential. We need to encourage constructive conversations rather than fostering fear among our students. She turned her gaze to the crowd, her authority pulling them closer. Let us take a moment to consider what Mia is advocating. Mia watched as faces softened in the audience, the initial shock beginning to melt away, replaced with contemplation. This could be a turning point, an opportunity to create dialogue rather than division. Mr. Harris opened his mouth to protest, but Principal Johnson raised a hand. People leaned in closer, hanging on every word. What if we created a platform where students could share their experiences, where they could ask for help without fear? Mia suggested boldly, emboldened by the supportive energy swirling around her. What if we could build an environment where collaboration replaces competition? Some nods appeared within the crowd, others whispered among themselves, considering the radical idea unfolding before them. A sense of unity began to spark. I believe we can learn and grow together, Mia continued, heart racing. Isn't that what education is truly about? Principal Johnson smiled softly, like a light breaking through heavy clouds. I think we're on the right path, Mia. Let us work together to create a fair assessment of everyone's abilities, an assessment built on support and understanding. Just then, the crowd erupted in applause, much louder this time. Mia felt the warmth of their acceptance, wrapping her like a cozy blanket on a cold night. Yet even as the cheers surrounded her, doubt flared within her. What if this wasn't enough? What if Mr. Harris's doubts remained, festering under the surface? Thank you, Mia said, her voice shaky but thankful. But I fear what lies ahead. How do we ensure that fears don't overshadow the progress we're trying to make? As hope lit up their faces, Mia also felt the persistent weight of uncertainty hovering over her. But just then, before the applause could fade, Principal Johnson's phone buzzed in her pocket. Her expression shifted from encouragement to alarm, and she quickly glanced at the screen. Excuse me one moment, everyone, she said, stepping aside. The excitement in the room dimmed, and Mia's heart dropped. What news could be waiting there? Every heartbeat carried waves of anxious anticipation. Would this moment spark a wave of transformation they all needed, or disrupt it before it even began? Mia couldn't shake the feeling that her story and their fight was only just beginning. Principal Johnson stepped away, her brows knitted with concern. The buzz of her phone seemed to hang in the air, an unwelcome menace cutting through the atmosphere of hope Mia had just ignited. Every eye shifted back to Mia, and the weight of their anticipation pressed heavily on her shoulders. As the principal held her phone in a shaky hand, Mia's heart beat fiercely. She could see Principal Johnson's lips tighten, her expression shifting from contemplation to worry. The applause had barely faded, and now dread crept into the space again. The moment had felt so hopeful, and now it felt on the verge of crumbling. Mia's palms were clammy, and she gripped the edges of the podium to steady herself as she scanned the crowd. The once encouraging faces were now painted with concern. She could practically hear the unspoken questions buzzing through the room. What had happened? Gradually, Principal Johnson returned to the group, her expression softer but resolute, as if she had wrestled with a storm and emerged steadier. I apologize for the interruption, she said, her voice carrying authority tempered by clarity. We received news about a group of students who were involved in a serious incident at another school. It doesn't directly involve any of you here, but it has caused concern across the district. A hush fell, thick with the weight of worry. The connection to their own discussions about accusations and support didn't go unnoticed. Mia felt a shiver run down her spine, tying her plight to something larger than herself, and she could sense that many around her were feeling the same knot of fear. Today is about how we choose to support each other during tough times, Principal Johnson continued, her voice steadying the murmurs. Just like we've discussed, it's crucial that we embrace collaboration. We can't let fear decide our actions. Mia slid her eyes to Mr. Harris, whose gaze was now locked on Principal Johnson, a flicker of hesitance breaking through his authoritative facade. She wondered if he could feel the change, the softening of hearts that echoed through the room. Maybe he was beginning to realize that education held more than just scores and tests. As the meeting resumed, Mia felt refueled by a new sense of purpose. She took a deep breath, ready to restate her proposal. What if we set up a committee, she suggested, raising her voice to cut through the tension, to help create peer tutoring programs. And maybe even a mentorship initiative. We can learn from each better and support one another, rather than pointing fingers when someone struggles. The crowd began to murmur again, slowly invigorating with ideas. Yes. Someone called out from the back. We could have workshops. Another voice chimed in, let us do community lunches where students can share their challenges. Mia felt the energy shift, the positivity washing over her like rain after a long drought. She realized they were building a momentum that could lead to real change. Principal Johnson nodded approvingly, her smile genuine now. "I think we might have a plan coming together," she said, a glimmer of pride in her eyes. "Let us formalize this and ensure everyone's voices are heard." But just as Mia felt the rush of hope swell in her chest, another unease floated into her mind. What if there were still those who wouldn't embrace this change? What if students' apprehensions about each other remained despite all these well-meaning plans? The meeting concluded with shouts of support, yet Mia couldn't shake the feeling that their fight was only just beginning. Outside the school walls, the world still felt divided, and she knew that a single initiative wouldn't easily bridge the gap. As students filed out, Mia caught a glimpse of Mr. Harris lingering at the back, an expression she couldn't decipher etched across his face. She started toward him, needing to understand his thoughts before they all parted ways for the day. "Mia," he called out suddenly, and she stopped, heart pounding, wondering what he was about to say. "We need to talk about this, it's important." With the hall bustling around them, Mia felt a surge of mixed emotions: fear, uncertainty, anticipation. What could he possibly say now that could change everything again? As he took a step closer, she braced herself. Would this moment break the ice between them, or would it plunge her back into doubt? Mr. Harris stepped closer, his brow furrowed in a way Mia hadn't seen before. The usual sternness in his demeanor was gone, replaced with an unmistakable urgency. The noise of the hallway faded, leaving just the two of them in an unspoken world that only they occupied. Her heart raced, adrenaline coursing through her veins as she searched his face for clues. "Mia," he began, his voice softer than she remembered, "I need to apologize for how I handled things earlier. The accusations, it was wrong of me to jump to conclusions without hearing your side fully." Mia blinked, taken aback. Apology? From Mr. Harris? It felt like an enormous weight lifting even as another settled in its place. She struggled to find her voice, her mind racing with the implications of his words. "Thank you, that means a lot," she finally managed, trying to parse through all the emotions swirling in her mind. Was he really starting to understand? Did he really see her as someone worth listening to? The moment felt fragile, a delicate flower blooming in the cracks of their previous misunderstandings. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said in there about support and collaboration," he continued, crossing his arms in thought. "Maybe I've been too focused on tests and scores instead of what really matters." Mia's breath caught in her chest. Was this a shift? A shift in his perspective? Could it be that the iron will he had exhibited was starting to give way to compassion? She focused on the flicker of hope igniting somewhere deep inside her. "What if," she suggested, her voice more confident, "you were part of this new committee? You could help bridge the gap between teachers and students. You know so much about what challenges we face. Together, we can create real change." Mr. Harris looked at her, the hard lines of his face softening. "I think that could work. We can't fix this overnight, but starting the conversation is key." There was a spark in his eyes, and Mia's heart swelled. Maybe she wasn't alone anymore. Maybe they could really make a difference together. Yet, as elation washed over her, another thought crept in. What about her peers? Could she trust them to join this fight? Like a game of tug-of-war between hope and uncertainty, her joy felt tempered by pending challenges. Suddenly, a ruckus erupted down the hall, pulling both their attention away. Students were gathered in a tight cluster, their laughter mixing with startled gasps. Mia's heart sank as she started to imagine the worst. Was this chaos a sign that things were unraveling again? Mr. Harris and Mia moved toward the crowd, curiosity piqued. As they drew closer, she saw a girl on the floor, her face buried in her hands, a few other students whispering, some shooting furtive glances at her. It was clear that something significant had happened, but what could it be? "Stay here, Mia," Mr. Harris instructed, his voice firm. "I'll see what is going on." He slipped into the throng, and with each step he took, Mia felt her anxieties coil tighter in her stomach. She could almost hear her heart pounding against the constraints of her doubt. Then something broke through the noise, a heavy sob that sent a shiver down her spine. It was a sound of anguish, but there was something familiar about it. Mia squeezed her way through the crowd, desperate to see what had happened. Did someone get hurt, or was it something deeper? As the crowd parted, Mia's breath caught in her throat. There, in the center, was a girl she barely knew. It looked like the chaos around them was more than just teenage antics. It was heartbreak, and suddenly Mia felt that tug of empathy, of responsibility that she had rallied her classmates for earlier. What was it they needed to do now? How could they help? Just as the thought crystallized in her mind, she realized something bigger than herself was happening. A shockwave of uncertainty rippled through the hall and she felt a gut instinct rising within her. A relentless thought echoed, certainly this moment could spark change, could be the catalyst for something meaningful. But as Mia watched, frozen in place, she couldn't shake the question lingering in the air. Was this the moment they all needed to come together, or were they about to break apart again? Mia felt a swell of fear rising like a tide threatening to pull her under. The girl on the floor was sobbing uncontrollably, her body trembling. She sat there in a world so different from the chaos surrounding her. Faces buzzed, some full of concern, others couched in intrigue, but Mia couldn't process any of it. Her focus was on the girl. Was it possible that her pain could be the key to uniting them all? Tentatively, Mia pushed her way through the throng, heart racing, trying to reach the girl beneath the flood of emotions. She could see strands of golden hair glistening under the fluorescent lights, and as she got closer, she recognized her. It was Chloe, a quiet girl from her science class, always tucked away in the back, always blending in. Chloe. What's wrong? Mia knelt beside her, voice soft but steady. Chloe's sobs were muffled, and she looked up with tear-streaked cheeks, eyes wide and brimming with despair. It's they found out I didn't mean to. Her words spilled out in gasps, punctuated by fresh waves of tears. Mia glanced around, sensing a mix of camaraderie and voyeurism from the audience. She didn't want Chloe to feel exposed like this. She moved closer, shielding her from the curious stares. Can you tell me what happened? I'm here for you. As the words left her lips, the crowd hushed. It felt like the air thickened around them, silence enveloping the chaos, making room for understanding. The shift was palpable, a kind of power that sprang from genuine concern rather than judgment. I didn't cheat, Chloe finally managed, voice shaky. But everyone thinks I did. My parents, they found a message on my phone and now everyone is saying I'm a fraud. I try hard in school, but they won't listen. The empathy surged in Mia, closing the distance between their struggles. Chloe, you're not alone. Look around, everyone's watching. We're here. Let us help each other. Mia felt an overwhelming urge to strengthen that connection, to push against the tide of isolation burying Chloe. She glanced back at the students, many of whom were now frowning, a collective expression of realization washing over them. Perhaps this was the moment they could all cultivate change, just as she envisioned earlier. Mr. Harris returned to their side, glancing between Chloe and the crowd. A glance of understanding passed between him and Mia. This isn't just about Chloe, he said, his voice now charged with authority. We need to clear the air. Mia felt a tremor of hope. We need to talk about what really matters. We can't keep pointing fingers without looking at ourselves first. As murmurs rippled through the crowd, Mia felt the tide turning, the emotions thickening into something transformative. Let us create forums. Bean bags and snacks, she added, a smile breaking through her prior worries. Where we can share stories without judgment. Chloe looked up, her eyes still red but ignited with a spark of hope. Hearing solutions felt nurturing, something they could all rally behind. The crowd shifted again, uncertainty blooming alongside a sense of solidarity. Students started to lend support, some moving forward, offering words of encouragement. Mia's heart soared. This wasn't just about Chloe. This was about everyone, breaking down walls and building bridges. What if we made it a movement? Chloe's voice was still uncertain, but Mia felt electricity in her words. A way to help anyone facing accusations? To be heard? Mia grinned, her heart racing with excitement. Yes. We can do this together. Let us start tonight. The momentum built around them, a wave of compassion surging through the group. Yet, as she saw the flickers of determination in some eyes, others still held skepticism, and Mia sensed that this was just the beginning. Would they be able to come together? Or would old feuds and the weight of their pasts tear them apart? As the crowd began to formulate a plan, Mia felt the electric hum of possibility. But beneath that, the tight knot of uncertainty pulled at her. Would their collective resolve hold firm in the face of adversity, or would new challenges soon threaten to undo every step they were about to take? As Mia stood among her peers, a cacophony of ideas filled the air. Each proposal seemed bolder than the last, and the collective buzz lifted her spirits. Chloe's sobs had softened, replaced by a flickering determination that illuminated her features. "Let us meet every Wednesday," shouted Jenna, who had always been one of Chloe's more vocal critics. The surprise that swept through the crowd was palpable. "We can share stories. We can talk about trust, honesty, things we all deal with." Mia felt the weight of the moment, a chance for vulnerability and healing. "Yes. And we can create a space for those feeling misunderstood," she added enthusiastically. Suddenly, they were no longer just students reacting to a scandal, they were advocates for each other in a way she had never anticipated. Mr. Harris nodded approvingly and then raised his arm, calling for quiet. "This kind of initiative is important. I'll support you all. Perhaps we can even organize guest speakers." The students chimed in, a chorus of suggestions filling the room like a song. "We could have a teacher come in to talk about stress. Or a counselor about communication." Mia watched the faces around her light up with excitement. There was something infectious about the way they were knitting their experiences into a fabric of hope. But even as she felt a swell of pride, a flicker of doubt crept back into her mind. Could this movement really stand under the scrutiny of their school? What if it doesn't work? Came a voice from the back. Liam, known for his cynical outlook. He had no problems voicing concerns, and Mia knew they were valid. "What if it does?" Chloe interjected, the strength in her voice surprising everyone. The crowd turned, captivated by her fierce resolve. "We can't let fear win. If we stand together, we can beat any doubts." Inspired, Mia felt her heart pound. "We're the ones who can create change right here. If it doesn't work, we'll adapt. But if we don't try, what's the alternative?" An encouraging murmur spread through the students, as uncertainty danced on their faces. Yet, in Chloe's eyes, Mia saw something unshakable, a resolve that was contagious. "All right. Let us take this step by step," Mr. Harris said, breaking through the moment. "I'll help arrange a place for the meetings, but remember, it's your vision. Stay true to each other and keep communicating." The crowd buzzed with agreement, and Mia found herself scanning the faces. She could sense a shared purpose emerging, one that transcended their individual issues. As the meeting adjourned, Mia turned to Chloe. "I'm so proud of you. You showed strength today." Chloe's smile, now genuine rather than tinged with sadness, lit up her features. "I'm grateful and scared. What if people still don't believe me?" Mia reached out, squeezing her hand. "Then we'll face it together. We're all about to grow." That night, as Mia lay in bed, she could still feel the electricity humming from the rallying cries that echoed in the school hallway. Yet she couldn't shake the fear of what lay ahead. Would the movement they believed in be strong enough to withstand opposing forces? The next morning, under the shouts of the morning bell, Mia found a note on her locker. The handwriting was shaky, the message simple: "I know the truth. I'll prove it." An icy chill cascaded through her. Who was it from? What exactly did they know? Mia stared at the note, her pulse racing. As she took a deep breath, she realized the ground beneath their newfound movement was shifting again. Mia's hands trembled as she unfolded the note, her mind racing through a maze of possibilities. Who could have sent it? Her eyes darted around the hallway filled with noise and laughter, every face blurring into a potential suspect. Panic gripped her heart. It felt as if the movement they had just ignited was already under threat. She shoved the note into her pocket as her friends began to gather for breakfast. Chloe, Jenna, and a couple of others unknowingly added weight to the anxiety creeping through Mia. Every grin felt like a challenge to her unease. How could they believe they could change anything when it felt like the whole school was on the verge of unraveling, slipping back into mistrust and secrets? "Hey, you okay?" Jenna asked, her brow furrowed with concern. Mia forced a smile. "Yeah, just thinking about everything we need to do this week." "Right." Chloe brightened, her eyes sparkling with unspent determination. "We should brainstorm about our first meeting. Can you believe Mr. Harris actually supports us?" "Yeah, it's great," Mia replied, barely masking her fears. As they sat together, Mia couldn't shake off the nagging worry. What if that note was a warning? Or worse, a threat? She felt a lump forming in her throat at the thought of Chloe being hurt again. "Alright, who wants to run things for Wednesday?" Jenna suggested, enthusiasm bubbling up. They dove into ideas, but Mia's mind drifted away. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, jarring her back to the present. It was a text from Liam, "Meet me after school. I found something." Mia's stomach twisted. She considered the implications. Had he seen something that could burst the movement's bubble? Their chat would need to be more than a simple exchange of ideas. The rest of the school day passed in a blur. Classes felt irrelevant, the buzz of chatter turned into a dull roar against her anxiety. When the final bell rang, she slipped out of the classroom, heart pounding like a drum. Liam stood by the fountain, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, fidgeting. "Thanks for coming," he muttered, glancing around as if he expected someone to eavesdrop. "What is going on, Liam? What did you find?" He hesitated, biting his lip. "I got a message, too. Someone's been spreading things about Chloe and it's not just whispers." Mia's breath caught. "What do you mean? What have you heard?" "There's a rumor that she had helped cheating, and it's tied to a couple of people we know. They're out to discredit her. If it gets to the wrong ears, it could ruin everything we're trying to build." Panic washed over her. "We can't let that happen. We need to confront it, to rally around her." Liam's expression darkened. "But what if we're not enough? What if it's too late?" Mia took a deep breath. The fear clung tightly, but she couldn't let it consume her. "We have to try. If we don't defend her, then who will?" Liam nodded slowly, but doubt still clouded his features. "You think it will work?" "We're stronger together," Mia insisted, conviction growing. "We can't lose faith now, not when we've just started to open up." As they turned to leave, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows behind them mirroring the web of uncertainties hanging over their mission. Mia glanced back at the school, feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. They could either become a force of change or let the whisperings tear them apart. A thought nagged at her, the words of that note surfacing again. What was the truth, and who was ready to reveal it? The questions haunted her. And as they walked away, she knew they were on the brink of something monumental. Would the truth unite them or fracture the fragile bonds they had painstakingly built? Mia's heart raced with worry and hope, the tension thick in the air. As she glanced at Liam, her resolve strengthened. They were just getting started and she wouldn't back down now. But who else was out there, hiding in the shadows? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the community center. For Mia Thompson, that light promised new beginnings. Standing outside, she took a deep breath, steadying herself for the meeting that could change everything for Chloe and for all of them. She spotted her friends Chloe, Jenna, and Liam gathered near the entrance, nervous energy buzzing around them like bees. Tonight was their chance to confront the rumors and unite as a community. They couldn't let the malicious whispers drive them apart. Mia's heart raced, but she clenched her fists, ready to fight for what was right and for her friend. As they walked inside, the room was already bustling. Parents, students, and community members filled the space, conversations around her swirling with anxious anticipation. Mia felt the weight of every gaze on her, but she also sensed a current of support running beneath that pressure. They believed in her cause. This was about survival and trust, not just numbers on a test. With the meeting starting, Mia stepped forward, heart pounding as she took the microphone in hand. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice trembling yet firm. "Mia." Mr. Harris called, interrupting her. A murmur of concern swept through the crowd. She locked eyes with him, remembering their last heated exchange. Had he changed? "We're here to talk about something important," he continued, "and I want to ensure everyone feels heard. However, I must address certain allegations against Chloe." Mia felt a surge of protectiveness rise within her. "Right now," she interrupted, "it's vital that we stand together. We need to hear Chloe's voice, not amplify the rumors." The crowd hushed, nodding in solidarity. Chloe squeezed Mia's hand. It was clear they needed a united stand, and Mia was ready to lead the charge. "Chloe, why don't you share with us what you've been facing?" Mia encouraged, stepping aside to allow her friend the space she deserved. Chloe took a deep breath, standing tall. "I want to say that I haven't cheated, and I'm tired of feeling isolated and ashamed. Rumors make it hard to breathe, and I just want to learn." Murmurs of empathy filled the air, the support tangible. "Let us listen," Jenna shouted. "We can't let fear tear us apart. No more accusations, only understanding." As Chloe continued, her voice quivering but her spirit shining, Mia felt jolts of hope reverberate through the room. This was their moment. Then, toward the back, a voice piped up. "But what about the truth?" It was a familiar yet disliked voice. Liam. He brazenly challenged, "How do we know you're being honest?" A wave of tension made the atmosphere crackle. Hearts sank, but Mia knew these challenges could only heighten their call for unity. "What do we want to define as the truth?" She responded boldly. "Is it scores or the strength of kindness? This is about a shared story, not just an individual struggle." The laughter and whispers quieted, replaced by whispers of realization. The boundaries that once separated them, judgment, pain, awareness, were bearing themselves open. Mia forged ahead, passion blazing in her chest. "We need to believe in each other, especially in those toughest moments. When we lift one another up, we discover our true capacity." Chloe's eyes glimmered with new light, the tears from earlier now replaced by strength. "This isn't just about me. It's about all the students who feel they need to hide. We can't let mistrust dictate our lives." Then, to Mia's surprise, Mr. Harris emerged from the back of the room, stronger than he had been. "You're right. I've had a change of heart. While I stand for rules and integrity, Mia and Chloe remind me that we're all human. The truth can only thrive on a foundation of trust." Cheers erupted, shaking the walls of the community center. The crowd began to pulse with excitement, buoyed by a united front. But before the energy fizzled, Mia took a step forward, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. "This is just the beginning," she declared, eyes flickering among her peers. "Let us establish monthly meetings, set up a mentorship program, and build a community that champions understanding instead of fear." That idea electrified the room, hands shot into the air as voices erupted into ideas, chants of support igniting into a firestorm of action. A pact began to form among them, a promise to stand against judgment and biases, to forge a community that cared, listened, and embraced love over lies. The meeting wrapped up, but the warmth remained, a bond, a new beginning. As Mia and Chloe stood together, surrounded by those they fought for, tears of joy danced in their eyes. Mia felt the strength swell in her chest, knowing they had all changed for the better. This community would no longer be bound by fear. As they left that night, the air felt lighter, vibrant with possibilities. Mia realized they could truly shape their destinies from here, united as one. And in the distance, the sun dipped below the horizon, giving way to a new dawn. Together, they would rise, stronger than ever. Now is the moment for you to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to this channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every click helps. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting change. Only true fans understand the importance of standing together through these actions.